Stereotypes lose their power when the world is found to be more complex than the stereotypes would suggest. When we learn individuals do not fit a group stereotype, then it begins to fall apart. IREF has opened our eyes, showing us what we see in media and hear in everyday conversation is contradicting to what we experience with the residents of IREF. At the facility, we meet with a group of residents who are part of the program, Toastmasters, which enables them with speaking, interaction, and confidence skills. They have taught us so much through their speeches about them as human beings and as being prisoners. They share their experiences throughout their life, while we share our ideas and feedback. Each resident shows gratitude, but it is them we should thank. Through the stories we share, we all have grown. With John's speech about compassion for one another, to AJ's speaking about breaking barriers between us, a speech about contagious passion, to Anton's speech about his teenage life and overcoming the obstacle to read. These speeches have shown us these are empowered, determined, compassionate people, unlike what is depicted about the system. In Toastmasters, we connect it with our schooling. Toastmasters enables all of us to improve our speaking abilities, which in return helps us in our speech class. It has helped us figure out our crutch words, how people judge a speaker, and how to better present ourselves. Not only has it helped us deliver our prepared speech abilities, but even our daily interactions and being put on the spot. We have learned how to speak appropriately and hold ourselves in front of an audience. It has helped me realize that I need to speak louder with my speeches. With the stories we have heard and the speeches given, we can use our criminal justice class to further enable our experiences in life and our ability to understand the criminal justice system. We all have our implicit biases, as we have learned in our first weeks of J101, and we came into IREF with these biases, that the men we were meeting were thugs and bad, tough-hearted people. We had to acknowledge we had these biases and open our minds to permit us to see that society has taught us contradicts to what we see and hear. We also see many of these residents have been through the system or had contact with them when they were juveniles, while we learn in class that if proper actions are not taken, it can harm the person whose mind is still developing. With what we learn in our studies, what we gain from the opportunities received from IREF, we can use it to empower both the residents when they leave and prevent the crimes. We got to see Joe Ray leave the facility. We got to see the impact we had on him, the impact he had on us. It was an amazing sight to see just how much the program can move in. Joe Ray was lucky to have a support system with his wife and kids when he got out. We see that a lot of residents did and still do not have people that support them. Whether it was the lack of good parenting, the lack of presence of the schools, or the harsh punishments of our system, we can use their stories to understand what has failed them. I was moved by Anton's speech when he talked about how he did not care about school, nor did the system push him. If we had more of a support system for our children, we could reduce the problems that follow. I believe we need to be more present for our juveniles while trying to solve the problem. We have to look at the outcome rather than have a knee-jerk reaction in order to help those who need it the most. Our system is unforgiving. It makes it so hard for people to get out and stay on their feet. They have felony check boxes on job applications and little help afterwards. It makes it so hard to get back into society when you have so little resources just to survive. In return, it causes the men to just struggle just to get by. It is because of the stereotypes set up by society we have punished them more than what was, and it is necessary. In order to fix it, we have to spread our story. We have to get people to be involved with these residents. We have to ask questions about how we do things for the people within the system and how we treat them within society. We have to think of others besides ourselves. Society lets its old ways and its fears hurt people. We do not look at the facts. We have to tear down our barriers and our walls to understand and help the people who need it most. Carson Kressley stated, "People are much deeper than stereotypes." That's the first place our minds go. When you get to know them and you hear their stories and you say, "I'd never guessed." I will tell my experience so people will say, "I'd never guessed." Will you?